The terrifying truth about Indian trucking. When someone utters the word India, I suddenly think of someplace noisy, rushy, and country full of chaos. Besides poor agriculture and education system, the terrible trucking rules and regulation petrifies to listen to. The Indian trucking industry continues to suffer due to its unorganized nature. The industry lacks proper standards and regulations. There are no formal unions to protect the interest of the driver, and this has led to the decline in new players entering the field. The lack of proper regulations does not ensure satisfying work conditions for truck drivers. There are multiple challenges that truck drivers face in India today. Despite the massive size of the industry, most of Indian trucking remains largely unorganized and with hands below the table. But the millions of drivers continue to drive, for if they stop, the country stops too. India is a home to the second largest road network in the world, with over 6.3 million total kilometers of roads, two-thirds of which is paved. The most familiar with this extensive network are the millions of truck drivers who call these roads home. The average Indian trucker lives an incredibly difficult lifestyle, with more than 80% of the drivers living out of them trucks. An average day of driving can consist of more than 14 hours on the road, as there are no commercial restrictions on driving time. Most of the time, trucks will have two drivers who will rotate shifts in order to increase time spent driving. One can sleep or have recreation time, while the other drives, only stopping for food to use the toilet. Even with this rotating system, most drivers can only get a few hours of sleep a night. Most Indian trucks are rigid and have anywhere between 2 to 5 axles only, though there are longer articulated trucks which are seen from time to time as well. Indian brands such as Tata, Ashok, Leyland, and many others dominate the Indian truck market, though there are plenty of foreign brands, mostly from Europe and Japan as well, which have been increasing in the frequency. One thing that sets Indian trucks aside from their foreign counterparts is their construction, as Indian trucks are sometimes altered to be made up partially of wood, something that has been abandoned in many areas of the world due to flammability. In total, Indian trucks drivers pay 4.5 billion US dollars in amount of cash. Because of this, drivers often carry sizable amount of cash on them, which leaves them vulnerable to robbers or others looking to take what little they have. Apparently, sometimes people will even burn down trucks accused of causing accidents as a form of mob justice. Even the process of obtaining a driver's license features an element of corruption, as license can simply be bought as opposed to be earned. There are new policies regulating the trucking industry being implemented at all times, mostly for the purpose of increasing bribe money, as drivers cannot keep up with the influx of new regulations. However, an overwhelming 84% of Indian truck drivers do not wish for their children to follow in their footsteps. Even with the little sleep they get, Indian truck drivers can manage long-distance hauls. Though longer-distance deliveries tend to pay higher, they also create incredible stress on families who seldom see one another, as long-distance drivers only come home a few days a month. Long distances on the road compounded with intense loneliness has led to a high rate of intoxicated driving, as it's not uncommon for truckers to take substances in order to increase alertness. 53% of truck drivers are dissatisfied with their professions, which is no surprise when you consider that 9 out of 10 Indian truck drivers do not own their own truck and makes an average of merely 20,000 Indian rupees monthly. Within the context of the system, this makes the obligation of bribery that much worse. Aside from the corruption and poor conditions which plague the industry, truck driving in India is incredibly dangerous. India tops the world in road crash deaths, with around 15,000 truck drivers dying annually. In addition, much of the rural road infrastructure is in great need of repair. Weather events such as floods, earthquakes, storms, etc. can wipe out roads completely, leading to the incredible difficulty for drivers attempting to pass. But as is the spirit of India, the truckers keep trucking. Jumping over the cities, the streets are packed with vehicles and people of all sorts. To an outsider, this haphazard flow of traffic may be a bit overwhelming, but there is an element of organized chaos which drivers are acutely aware of. Indian road operate on a free flow of people. Vehicles and animals are in constant state of narrow avoidance, as there is a strong sense of understanding between truckers. Now on to the lighter subjects. One of the most fun parts of being an Indian truck driver has to be the horn. Indians love honking their horn, so much so that the horn is a major part of driving. In the West, we use horns to alert other drivers when there is something wrong, whereas in India, the horn is used as a notice of existence. But customization on these trucks goes far past the horns, as almost every visual facet of an Indian truck is intentional and ornate, both exterior and interior. The exteriors of Indian trucks are visually stunning, being hand-painted with many brightly colored motifs that relate to Indian culture, religion, and history in a style known as Meenakari. Artistically inclined drivers can do the painting themselves, but most will outsource the work to professionals who paint trucks for a living, creating both images and highly artistic lettering which are painted onto the exterior. These trucks are visually loud as they are auditorially loud and do much for the driver's morale, as personalization helps to make the trucks more home-like. The majority of Indian trucks do not have air conditioning, only using fans to keep cool throughout the heat of the day. Many parts of India see year-round hot and sometimes very humid weather depending on the region, which makes driving miserable and can result in truck overheating. The Indian solution to this? Just throw some water on the radiator and wait a little while. I suppose there's not much else they can do. This chaotic and unregulated industry, however overwhelming it may seem at times, does grant truck drivers a small amount of personal freedom while on the road. They are not bound by any time regulations outside of their delivery time, allowing for them to stop when they see fit, drive for as long as they want, and enjoy the few hours of free time they have. While we have truck stops here in the US, Indian truck drivers have what they call dabas, which exist as roadside restaurants for hungry drivers as well as a place to park for the night. Some dabas include entertainment as well as acrobatic performances, Bollywood music, and films. Dabas are also a place for truck drivers to socialize in order to stave off the loneliness of the road. It's also quite common for drivers to cook in their trucks, using open flames to heat stews, curries, and other Indian meals. Though this helps to save money, the cooking process is dangerous, as open flames and ornate cloth truck interiors do not tend to mix well. In addition to this, it can be hard to keep ingredients fresh without any form of refrigeration, unfortunately leading to many gastrointestinal issues for drivers. The life of an Indian trucker is one wrought with corruption, danger, and experience. Every day, drivers see something new, be it a horrific accident, a beautiful landscape, or a treacherous road. It matters not to the Indian driver, laser focused on arriving at the destination. I apologize if this video came across as overly negative, but there seems to be so many issues facing the Indian trucking industry and Indian truck drivers themselves that I wanted to highlight the sacrifice that drivers make in order to keep the supply chain operating. I hope you like our today's video. Thank you for watching, and let me know in the comment section what you think about it.